Okay, so let's look at this tape for the Browns game versus the Raiders here. There's some interesting things to look at here, and I think I'm going to start with the run game. And one thing I have noticed with this run game is they do much better on the edges than they do going, towards the middle of the field, right? Like their off-tackle stuff, their stretch runs, their zone runs outside, they seem to have a lot more success. Now, this is just one play where we're going to see they pull, I think, Wyatt Teller. Yeah, they pull Wyatt Teller, 77. Wyatt gets out there on the edge. He's kind of the lead blocker for Chubb. And I think one of the reasons why this works is, yes, you got Wyatt Teller pulling. Wyatt Teller's pretty good. But I think the more important reason is actually for specifically Nick Chubb. Because one thing I have noticed about Nick Chubb, and it's the same thing about Derrick Henry, right? And it's just how about you use a player. It's not any indictment on their abilities, but Nick Chubb is a downhill runner. And I think when people look at Nick Chubb and they think about Nick Chubb, they see big running back, strong legs. They think up the middle. He's kind of like that kind of a running back, kind of in the vein of like a Jamal Lewis or something like that. But Nick Chubb's not like that. Nick Chubb doesn't do most of his work in straight up the middle ISO run plays. Like he does most of his work on the edges. And this is a prime example of it because look at Nick Chubb, right? The second he can plant and then really get going, that's where he hits that second gear. And that's when Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb. Right? Where he's hard to tackle, where he's hard to get down, where he's quick, all those things. He needs to go downhill and hit that second gear. Now we're going to move on to something else real quick, and we'll come back to that. This is probably the biggest missed opportunity of the game here. It's going to be a play action pass. They set up this double move. Donovan Peoples-Jones is really good at this double move. He hits it right here at the 50. Let me highlight him. Right here, you're going to want to watch Donovan Peoples-Jones. He hits his double move here, so we can run this back a little bit, right? Let's run it back a little bit. But basically, he's doing a double move, so it's a hitch and go. And he runs his route to perfection, right? Gets it 50, stops, fake, sells the out, boom, up. Now, if this were Baker Mayfield, right, there would be more room to criticize the throw because Baker's supposed to be a lot better than Nick Mullins. But look, Nick gets hit while he throws this. I'm just happy he made the right read and got the ball out. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be too critical of the third string quarterback here. So, yeah, he doesn't make a perfect throw, but he's doing it while he's under duress. He got the ball out. That's all you really want from Nick Mullins. And, the ball comes out there. It's a little late. It's a little behind. But it's still very, very catchable. It's not going to be the touchdown that it could have been with better quarterback play, but it's a very catchable, huge chunk play early in this game that could have secured points that would have made this game a lot more winnable for this team late in this game. But instead, Donovan kind of tries to do too much here, right? All you got to do is catch this ball, go out of bounds. But instead, he tries to hit the home run. He tries to throw 35 out the way. That keeps 35 in the play. See right here? And, that's a huge killer right there, right? Like, you don't get that play now because Donovan just tried to do too much here, right? Again, right here, yeah, is that ball perfect? Absolutely not. But it's as good as it's going to be in the given circumstances that were today. You stop on there, you make the catch, you make the adjustment, you see 35, and then his eyes got really big. And this is the growing pains of a young player, right? Donovan Peoples-Jones will learn to just take what they give him in due time. But as a young player, he's still thinking, I can make the big play. I'm going to do it. Then he forgets everybody's really good in the NFL. And when you give really good players longer moments to be in the play, you also give opportunities like that to happen. And now you feel real goofy. So, Donovan Peoples-Jones got to be a lot better on that. I can understand where the ball wasn't great, but it had nothing to do with the ball placement on why he fumbled that ball. It's all on when his eyes got big and when he thought he was going to make a huge play there. All right, now let's get back to the run game. This run game is as much as a mess as the passing game. Part of the reason it is a mess like the passing game is the pass is just respected so little here. You're going to see they have a ton of people in the box here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this dude lurking, one safety over top. Like basically they're kind of playing man here, but this dude's really just like watching to see if that ball's handed off, and then he's going to quickly abandon and join this box. This safety's just over top just to make sure nobody breaks loose. And then you got to keep a one-on-one matchup here with Anthony Schwartz. So basically you're playing a game of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 plus 1. So 8 plus 1, 9 on what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, right? It's 9 on 8 here. And you just can't win these battles in the NFL when you don't have your passing game respected at all. And this is why these ISO run plays, these up the middle runs, they just don't work, right? I know a lot of people want the Browns to just run the ball up the middle, and it just doesn't work because look what happens here when they do, right? They do an ISO run play. I think they try to get a little zone action here in the middle with the double teams, right? And there's nothing you could do here, man. There's not everything. I mean, sure, you could ask Treader to get off this block a little bit quicker, but that block's not done yet. Neither is that block. And then even if you do get to that second level, who's on him? This guy's busting through. It's just not a winnable battle. I mean, literally every gap is covered. Just can't really run the football in this. And this is why, run the ball doesn't really work all that much, because it doesn't matter how good you can run block. If you're outnumbered, you're outnumbered. And this is them outnumbered. Look, there will be there's no gaps here. It doesn't matter what Nick Chubb reads, right? He has 2 options here. And it may be that if he's feeling really frisky, but I doubt it. That's not happening. That's not happening. And this ain't happening. Where's Nick Chubb supposed to go with the ball here? There's absolutely nothing created for him. And it's not really the offensive line's fault. It's just when they don't respect the pass to the level to where teams are now not respecting the pass, this is just what's going to happen. Hey, now I've noticed this is like kind of a modern tendency, or at least I'm just noticing it, but it seems like whenever a team that you root for loses, people look for what your team did to lose that game, and they don't really kind of acknowledge that other teams had to play well in order to win that game. And I think the sad reality here for the Cleveland Browns coming into this game was they were going to have to play almost a perfect game in order to win, and they needed the Raiders to come here and make mistakes for the Browns to win this game. And the Raiders made a few mistakes, but they just didn't make enough mistakes, right? They played well enough to beat a team that just did not have over 10 of their starters. And this is one of those examples of just a team that was playing well, right? Watch 92 here. The Browns are going to try to run a slip screen. I believe this is on the 3rd and 7. This is a huge play here. They're going to run the slip screen to Dearness Johnson. And by design, this guard's going to let him through, push him upfield a little bit, and he's supposed to be out the play after that. But he makes a great hustle play that not only blows up this play for the Browns, but unfortunately, it kills a big first down and what could have been a huge play for this team. Watch 92. The guard does his job, right? Fakes the block, pushes him upfield. Textbook. That's a great job right there by Blake Hands. And you see Dearness is in position. He gets the ball, and Wyatt has that block. If he can get around him, there is nothing but green grass here. He's going to get the first down, and he could get probably to like the 30, maybe even the 40 if he makes the right cuts. But unfortunately, for the Browns at least, 92 came to play, because look at this play that he makes here. Again, I'm going to highlight him from the start. So now you see what the opportunity was. Let's look at 92. So he's on the ground right now. This is the dude who eventually makes the tackle. He's on the ground right now. Dearness is here about to get the ball. There's all that green grass. This play this was a really good play call. It just got blown up by a good play. And 92 comes up here, picks up, hauls butt, gets to the right angle, and just blows this up. He made an excellent play there. Again, watch 92. Right here. And he just blows this up. Some great efforts on this play. Right? 92, great effort there. And Abrams, right? A great effort. Not Abrams, 34, the linebacker, great effort on the center. Right? Staying in there. No, Abrams actually. Yeah, it was Abrams on Wyatt Teller. Doing a great job. You know, Wyatt's there, but Abrams does a great job of getting his hand in Wyatt's chest and extending himself out to get parallel to force this play back in just so 92, who's hustling, can clean up. Textbook good defensive play there. Right? The Raiders just played well enough to win this game, and that's the sad reality of it, right? I know we want to blame things and point the finger at coaches and different players, but honestly, you know, yeah, there's some of that to go around, but the Raiders just played well enough to beat a Browns team that did not have 10 of their starters. I think that's the biggest thing that we have to remember here. Now, this is a play I'm going to highlight that's good on the defense. Javonte Moffitt actually had a pretty good game up until the last drive, but he is right here over the slot. He does something that I wish somebody would have done in the AFC semifinal last year, which is find a quarterback and realize he's about to run, because we almost got Chad Henney'd. And Moffitt made a great play here, not on his watch. Just wanted to highlight that. He doesn't get to play that much. That was an excellent play. That was a huge play here. All right, let's talk about the kicker. I have heard all the takes in the world about this kick. All right. Y'all know I'm not a big fan of kickers. Well, you know I'm not a big fan of giving kickers extended time to get things right? I think once a kicker has demonstrated that they're going to miss probably 4 kicks out of 6 or out of 10 or whatever, not out of 10, that's pretty harsh, but like 6 out of 10, if they're going to miss 6 out of 10, I don't want anything to do with them after that. But that's just my philosophy on this. Now, people are going around Twitter sharing pictures. Oh, man, it was a bad snap. I kind of went with that narrative. I honestly don't think a bad snap's a good enough excuse. But then I looked at the play, and here's the snap, and here's the ball placement. That's fine. There's no laces. It's upright. That's fine, dude. That it might be slightly off, but that is absolutely fine. That again, we'll rewind it. But again, here's the ball snap, place. That's fine. That is an absolutely fine kick. Well, not a fine kick, but that's absolutely fine hold. We'll see it from the other angle. Again, notice the flags, no wind. The hold. And, you know, some people might think Abrams got a hand on it. Absolutely didn't. He just smoked the kick, man. If you want to talk about, well, maybe the angle of the hold wasn't right, then that's just too much for me. Like I'm not here to talk about the kicker's ball angle. Man's got to make that kick. Ended up being a costly one. Now, I think I was a little harsh after the game. I can't blame the game on him, but it ended up being 3 costly points that probably would have shifted momentum towards the Cleveland Browns' direction. And maybe allowed for some more aggressive play calling for the Cleveland Browns here. Who knows how the game would have changed if he makes that extra point. Well, not extra point, but that field goal. Again, it was a huge miss there. I mean, the offense didn't get anything going in the first half. That was the one time they showed life. You got to get that. There's also Donovan Peoples-Jones drop. Those 2 plays in the first half, it really made it so that it was almost insurmountable what the Browns could overcome in the second half, unfortunately. And they still almost won this game. I think there's something to be proud of there. But, yeah, it's just an unfortunate miss there. Now, this is a great play by JOK. Look how he reads this, stays on the quarterback, finds a way to get there, pops the ball out, and then boom. Now, they had a fumbled snap on this drive that the Browns weren't able to retrieve. And then that led to a touchdown. Now let's get back to the run game. This is where Nick Chubb is at his best, when he is going downhill. You're going to see him here going downhill. Boom, fast. He scores a touchdown here. Now, there was a holding call on this play, so this didn't officially stand. But you get the gist, right? This is when Nick Chubb looks like Nicholas Chubb, right? We have not really seen him look like Nick Chubb 100% of the time this year. This is when he does, right? Going off tackle, able to get downfield, able to plant, and once he's able to plant, boom, untouchable. We're going to see it from the end zone angle, maybe. Yep. And we're going to see it again here, right? Look at the line. He's able to stretch, go vertical, and then once he can plant, go downhill, boom, untouchable. This is the key to getting Nick Chubb going and the key to stopping Nick Chubb, right? If you can get to Nick Chubb before he can get that foot plant down and go downhill, you can stop Nick Chubb pretty easily. But if you can't get there before he can get that foot plant down, or if you can get him clean before he can get that foot plant down, boom, hard to tackle. This is the same thing with Derrick Henry, by the way. The Titans do a little bit of a better job of masking it, and also their passing threat has been much more consistent this year. Well, not this year, this year. But they've had a more consistent passing threat than the Cleveland Browns over the years, right? But able to plant, get downfield. We're going to see it again here. Nick Chubb, again, down. He stutters, steps, plants, gets downfield, hard to tackle again. Takes 3 guys to tackle him. Much different than like some of the times we see Nick Chubb just get arm tackled behind the line of scrimmage, right? It's one of those things. Once he plants, gets downfield, all that momentum goes 100%. He is very tough to tackle in that respect. Now, which play is this? Is this I think this is another good one. Yep. And then again, look. He plants, goes downfield. He's hard to tackle again. This is how you use Nick Chubb. I think people think you use Nick Chubb up the middle. You don't. You use Nick Chubb off tackle on stretch plays because he's not dangerous until he gets to that point. And then he can turn into Nick Chubb. He takes a little while to get going. I think that's probably why he didn't have like the fastest 40 time in the world. And then this is the third down play. The much controversial third down play. Now, there's some people, hey, you should have went play action here. I think that's a little bit hindsight being 2020. Look, if you put me in that situation, I think if you put a lot of people in that situation, a lot of coaches and a lot of just people who watch football, and you're like, you got 3 yards, you got Nick Mullins out there. Yeah, Nick Mullins has played okay, but you still got Nick Chubb. It's 3 yards. I'm going to just give the ball to Nick Chubb here and see if he can get it. I'm going to run his best play. I'm going to go off tackle, and I'm going to just hope Nick Chubb can get us those 3 yards. And, you know, they ran the right play, getting him downfield. He was able to cut, but he just wasn't able to gather enough momentum, and it just wasn't there. It's unfortunate. I think Hankins and 5. I don't know who 5 is, but Hankins and number 5 here. So 90, big old 90 in the middle here. Let me highlight them. 90 and 5 really break this play up. Yeah, and I think it's a fine play call. I'm not too upset with it. But 90 does a good job just getting in the throat of J.C. Treader, and then 5 does a good job cleaning up here, right, where he just gets here, takes and eats that block by Janovich, right? So he eats that Janovich block, doesn't let himself be cleared. He holds that gap, boom, forces that back towards Hankins, and then that just collapses the play. He actually pushes Janovich back. He wins that block completely. Look at this. Janovich has got to win that one-on-one. If Janovich can clear him out, that's not only a first down, that's like a 40-yard run. Right? But Janovich just doesn't win this out. Again, watch this hole right here. It's a good call. You just got to win your one-on-one battles in those situations, right? Like you got to win at some point. And 5 wanted to win this game more than 31. Or was able to procure this game for his team more than 31 was, right? Puts his shoulder in, pushes him all the way back into the play. He collapses the play and not only pushes him, this is a really impressive play by 5, holds his ground and then makes the tackle. Just blew it up completely. 2 great efforts blew up that play. You got to win those battles one-on-one in those situations, right? 3rd and 3, we're going to give the ball to Nick Chubb. You got to win your battles on the line of scrimmage. Andy Janovich is only in there to win that one block, right? That's why he's in there, to win that block. Same thing with J.C. Tretter. J.C. Tretter's got to win that block a little bit better on Hankins. But both those players did not win. That blew up this run play. What could have been 40 yards turns into -2. You got to win these games at some point, right? You have to win. You have to win one-on-one efforts to win football games. And unfortunately for the Browns, in some key moments, we just didn't win those battles. Now let's talk about this last drive, because I have heard a lot about this last drive. I've heard a lot about prevent defense in this last drive. I don't know where that comes from. The Browns were not in a single prevent look in this entire series here. Normally a prevent is quarters, right? Quarters, a ton of DBs, 3 down linemen. The Browns were never in a prevent look. They might have played some off coverage, but that was because they were blitzing, right? But they were never in a prevent look. I mean, they were in some under looks, but that's every team is going to be in those looks in the situation the Browns were in. So I just don't know where people were getting prevent from. But we'll run the whole drive here so everybody can see and make up for themselves. But they send 4 here. This is a standard 2 under. You just want to get them to make that short throw so you can tackle them inbounds, make them waste clock. Because remember, the Raiders didn't have any timeouts at this point. So that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to give them only the short stuff in the middle of the field so you can come up and make the play. Now, he smartly dropped that ball because that would have wasted more time than it would have been worth for 5 yards. Again, here, this is a standard base look. I mean, they got 8 men in the box here. This is definitely not a prevent look. 1 safety over top. They send 4. They get decent pressure here. And again, throw to the tight end. Great tackle by Denzel Ward. Everything's going to plan right now. Like, this is a pretty good, for the defense, drill right now, how it's going for them. So, again, we'll see this from the end zone angle. Denzel Ward comes up here, makes a hell of a play. And then gets him inbounds. That's exactly what you want out of that. It's exactly what you want out of that. It's a really good play. All right, so on this play, again, there was absolutely no prevent. They send 6 on this play. They send Moffitt, I believe, and they send JOK. So Moffitt in this gap, on JOK in that gap, Moffitt in this gap, Miles, and then obviously you send the front 4. And then you're pretty much going mano y mano here with a spy underneath, or at least somebody waiting for that running back, and then 1 deep safety. And in this situation, you have to play off if you're these DBs, especially if you're these 2 DBs right here, right? This guy, Denzel Ward, he might be able to get away with playing a little bit closer, and you could argue he could have played closer. But also Denzel Ward is pretty aware that this safety is not thinking that Denzel Ward is going to blow coverage. He's looking over here. So, again, you got to play off coverage here because you're sending 6. Again, this is the opposite of a prevent. They did not run a prevent. But right here, Denzel Ward, he plays off. They get the right call in there. And Oakland did a good job. Not Oakland. Las Vegas did a good job of anticipating this blitz. You see, they went loosey right here. They slid the line left, slid the running back protection, and they were ready for it. Boom. had everybody accounted for on that side of the ball, got rid of it before Miles could become a part of the equation, and he knows, hey, this is a blitz, off coverage. I'm going to have this slant wide open. Well, this post wide open. Boom, hit it. It's good football. It's good football. It's Derek Carr just playing good quarterback right there down the stretch. You got to give him his credit. But yeah, it's just good football right there. He just made the play on top of the play that the Browns are making. So, again, right here, this is definitely not a prevent look. This is more of a nickel look, right? 2 linebackers, 4 down linemen. So 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 DBs. 5 DBs. It's nickel because 5 cents, 5 DBs. And again, this is very much not a prevent look. This is kind of a nickel man situation here. JOK loses 28 here. Right, I think JOK, that's on him. He loses 28 here. Again, you kind of want Las Vegas to take that shot in the middle of the field because, again, it kills so much clock time. You just want to be a little bit closer so they don't get so far upfield here, right? You probably want to stop him before he can get to the 50. And I think JOK played a little bit too far off on this one, right? He played a little bit too far off the hash. Just allowed too much time here, right? Yeah, he got caught. But that's kind of what that is designed for, right? You want to have them take the 5 yards because they have no timeouts, and you want them to waste time here. Now, this is where it gets a little different, right? You're going to have to be a little bit more aggressive here because instead of it being 40 yards to field goal range, you're like 10, 15 yards here. Again, you're in a base 4-3. Well, no, it's still base nickel. And then you give up a huge play here, but you get lucky because you get a holding call here, right? I believe they get a holding call. I don't know who on the hold is. Don't really care who the hold is on here. We'll move on. All right, so again, they come out here. I believe this is 2. This looks like 4-3, but they're just using Javonte Moffitt as a linebacker technically, but this looks like base 4-3. Even though it's technically a nickel look because there's 2 linebackers, 5 DBs. And again, they send a 4. They're playing that loose underneath coverage because, again, we want them to take that. I think there is miscommunication right here between Moffitt and Denzel Ward up top, right? There's MJ Stewart. He's in the slot. But Moffitt and Denzel Ward end up occupying the same space, and that leaves the tight end wide open in the flat. I think one or the other was supposed to take care of that. I think it was probably Denzel Ward. That would make the most sense logistically, but I could see it being Moffitt and you not wanting to waste Denzel Ward in the flat, right? So Moffitt, somebody's not where they're supposed to be. The flat ends up being wide open. And even still, if Denzel Ward makes this, like this would be an incredible attempt here if he could. But if Denzel Ward could tackle Foster Monroe here inbounds, that might have won the game. Like this right here, just seconds away, right? If these two could just force Foster Monroe out of down right now inbounds, that might be enough because there's only 29 seconds on the clock right now to really, you're going to run this down to about 15. That might give you the 5-10 extra seconds you needed to run them out of time here. And he not only gets the extra 5 yards, he gets out of bounds. That stinks, right? They made that one more play than you in this game. Again, here, just a miscommunication. Somebody forgot to get the flat and allowed that to happen. You can't have that happen. It's probably the biggest mistake the defense made in this drive. And here, again, this is another very aggressive look here. I mean, they only have 1 safety here. They're playing a lot of man, and they're going to send a blitz here. Again, they send 6 here to try to just end the game, force them back. And they almost get there, right? I think there's probably a hold here on 87 that just doesn't get called, but it's Myles Garrett. They're never going to call that hold on Myles Garrett for whatever reason. And Derek Carr rolls out with the extra time he was afforded, makes a play. Gets the ball back to the 30. And then they hurry up, spike the ball. They get like 5 seconds left. Again, man, if Denzel Ward and JOK can make that tackle at that one time, that could have ended it. Again, man, it's just small plays. Look, there was nothing stupid in this game that the Browns did to lose it. So ultimately, I'm not that mad, because usually I only get mad when they do something stupid to lose the game. They didn't do anything stupid. They weren't in super prevent defense at the end of this game, despite what some people have been saying for whatever reason. I don't mind the play call, given that Nick Chubb had all that success going downhill on 3rd and 3. It just, you did not win those battles mano a mano, and you got to live with that. That's football. But that's my thoughts on this week's game. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. But again, guys, have a great day. Have a good night.